Rose Wang. I'm from San Francisco, California, here seeking $100,000 for 7% of my company called...
Oh, God.
CHIRPS, the first ever cricket chip.
My God.
Hi, my name is Laura DeSaro, and I'm the other founder of CHIRPS.
Sharks, it's time to eat what bugs you with CHIRPS. Now, you've seen a cricket product before, and you know that crickets are one of the healthiest, most sustainable protein sources out there.
But you also know what the challenge is. How do we get people to eat bugs? To get people excited about eating bugs, we put crickets in America's favorite snack food, chips.
CHIRPS are what we call our gateway bug because chips are something people already love to eat.
CHIRPS tastes like a good corn chip, but in one serving, you get as much protein as an egg white and 30% less fat than regular potato chips.
They're non-GMO, gluten-free, and all natural. And the best part, there's one cricket per chip.
And CHIRPS are just the beginning. If we can get people excited about eating bugs, we can put bugs in all sorts of foods.
So who wants to chip in the future and try some CHIRPS?
Bug appetit!
Woo!
Okay, so
All right, so I haven't actually tried the other one. I can't remember. It was in a bar. I feel like I'm blanking on the name. I should have looked it up. But look, it's an education problem that we they're taking a stab at it right out of the gate by saying, look, that's the biggest challenge, and that's why we're putting it into chips, which I can't hate on. I can't hate on that. It's being able to get that much protein and nutrition from something that we already eat is a great gateway, or as they said, the bug way to into eating more bugs and things of that nature. Look, I mean, I can't say that that's like my number one go-to thing that I think about. Like, oh yeah, let's go eat some bugs. But hey, snails, escargot is a thing, and we eat some weird thing. Like caviar is a weird thing to eat too. And I mean, heck, when you really think about it, like everything we eat is really weird if you really think about it. So, I'm on board. I think it's a great idea. Just like I'm on board with getting your ABCs over at shopsuperjoe.com. That's apparel, like I'm wearing right here, books that I've written, as well as courses that I teach and have video courses for over at shopsuperjoe.com.
Try these.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's one cricket per chip.
Why just one? And there's not that much protein in one cricket.
So our chips have 4 grams of protein per serving. Right now, we want to have more cricket flour, but for a lot of our consumers, they think one cricket is enough.
How many crickets per bag?
So in the small ones, there's about 70.
One cricket per chip.
Kind of smells a little funky when you open it. Well, let me ask you something.
Okay.
Looking on the ingredients, number 1 is corn.
Right.
Then you have beans, then cricket flour.
Right.
So what is the point of using the crickets?
What we wanted to do is create a chip that's one of the highest protein chips on the market, and also have other healthy ingredients that complement the cricket flour to introduce it to consumers.
I think that's a good idea. I mean, the bean. I mean, how much of the protein is coming from the bean versus the one cricket per chip? Of course, I stopped on Mark over here, getting ready to put it in his mouth. But I think trying to be conscious about the consumer education as well as what makes a lot of sense. Like, I don't know what the price for cricket powder is, but it's one of those things where it's like, it doesn't have to be the end all be all. And if you're at the forefront of it, then you can introduce people to other things that increase the amount of crickets. Man, I really wish I had looked up the name of the cricket bar.
Some people would buy them. The flavor's great, particularly a barbecue. I thought it was really tasty, nice and crisp. I think they're delicious. Am I tasting the flavor I'm picking up? Is that from the cricket or is that from other flavoring?
So the cricket has it's like kind of an umami. It adds a depth to the flavor. It's slightly nutty, but you might be getting some of the beans as well that are in the chips.
I see.
So, tell the story. What got you into this?
So Rose and I were college roommates at Harvard, and I studied abroad in Tanzania and ended up meeting this woman selling fried caterpillars. I bought one, and my first thought when I bit down was, this tastes like lobster. And so I got back and started researching eating insects, and found out they're so sustainable, so healthy, and I was like, why aren't people eating this? So I sent Rose an article about eating insects.
And I had just come back from China where I had a fried scorpion and had the same reaction she did, which, oh, this tastes like shrimp. We're like, well, let's try to get other people to eat bugs.
Outside the United States, this is really normal. About 80% of countries eat insects, and it's often a delicacy. It's
Africa,
like,
big.
yeah. So I was an African studies major, and like when the termites came out, it was like celebration time.
This isn't just about eating bugs,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Right. There's got to be a social component there. There's got to be a bigger mission. What is
Yeah,
it?
for us, insects are one of the most sustainable protein sources out there. So, for example, it takes 2,000 gallons of water to make a pound of beef, but only 1 gallon of water to make a pound of crickets. Crickets are by far one of the healthiest, most sustainable protein sources.
What does one bag cost?
So that right in and of itself, there was a video by Kirk Kazar, if you here on YouTube. If you haven't watched it, you should. Talking about like what can we do to be more sustainable, and does it ultimately make a difference at this point? If even we just make those changes ourselves, right? Like I'm gonna, not use plastic water bottles. I'm not, I do all these things, and they basically were like, well, look, if you did everything right for like 60 years of your life, you would save 1 second of carbon emissions across the planet. Like, wow, it's gonna take a lot of people all doing the right thing for a large chunk, if not all of their life, to be able to make that any kind of a dent at all in the amount of carbon emissions. But reducing things like water usage for beef. Look, I eat meat. I'm unapologetic about it. I don't eat it all the time. It's not, I do eat vegetarian dishes and things like that. I'm not adverse to the salads and things without any meat. But being able to get it where we can reduce the amount of water usage, the amount of emissions and all of that. I mean, I always bring up this argument. It's like, look, I get it. We want to be able to have meat. Awesome. Wonderful. Do we need to have meat on every corner in a McDonald's, Wendy's, Taco Bell? I love Taco Bell. And I like Wendy's as well. But like, do we need to have it at every single like corner for us to be able to consume? It just maybe is a bit much, right? Like there's other things that we could be doing. Not that like the veggie burger was whatever that thing's called that they have at Burger King is really even that much better, but for you. But just an opportunity to say, let's change the conversation on what we eat, how we eat, and maybe this is a way to ramp up more sustainability on the planet a lot faster. Again, it's an education problem, but it's one that I think is kind of an important conversation to have.
Yep, so our small snack size is $1.99. And
That's what we have here.
Yes.
Yeah, those guys.
And then the big ones here are $3.99.
And what does it cost you for a small?
A small is 48 cents now. We could get it down to 40 cents.
For the whole bag, that's not bad.
Yep. So we actually just signed on with the 2 largest natural food distributors in the U.S. We are in 73 airport stores, as well as 20 natural food stores currently.
And what will you sell this year?
So this year, we're going to end the year with about $200,000.
Okay, and next year, what do you think you can do?
We think we can do 1.5 million.
That's quite a
that's a
jump.
big
Why
jump.
would that be? Based on what?
One of our biggest clients that are coming to us are museums, zoos, aquariums, theme parks. We're in the biggest theme park in the Southeast. And so from even just one of these parks, we can turn about 100 bags per SKU per week. So that's a much bigger velocity than you would get at a natural food store.
The snack business is a multi-billion-dollar franchise.
Yes.
Miss Happy over there, you're smiling so much. When you get into a large retailer that says you want 2 linear feet in my snack, department, they're going to say, give me $1 million, and you won't be smiling so much because you're going to have to buy your share. I really am concerned, and I say this on deals where you're trying to steal share from a very old, established market. They are going to crush you like the cockroaches you are.
We knew you were going to call us cockroach.
Oh, geez. Yeah. So going back, like increasing the velocity, having it so that it's available. Yeah, I don't know that getting it into those supermarkets, is going to move the needle as much. I think that it's pretty awesome that the Sharks didn't poo-poo the fact that they're asking for $100,000 for 7%, and their sales at this point was only at $200,000 at least in the previous year. So when you look at putting it in a place that like it's grab and go and that kind of thing, like even at hotel chains, right, in their grab and go marketplaces like that. The velocity there is going to be so much higher than elsewhere. But as Mr. Wonderful pointed out, I wanted to pause it but didn't. When you're trying to vie for that shelf space, we see this every time, like he says, right? Frozen foods is a really hard place to crack because there's only so much square footage. I always say everything pays rent. Everything needs to pay its rent. So it's paying in pleasure or necessity. And when we're talking about inventory management, it's really important that every square foot that you're paying from a lease, from a rent, from a mortgage standpoint, from a what is available standpoint in general, that everything is giving you that ROI that you're looking for. It's really important, to not take up a bunch of space for something that's not giving you some form of ROI. And of course the size in which it is makes that difference because it's taking up less square footage. So it's like, I can afford to have this thing, this space take up this because I know we don't sell it all the time, but it's a higher margin item and it's paying its rent even though it doesn't have as fast of a turnover rate as I would like to see it. It's better to have have a mixture of those items so that you're getting that clientele to be able to even come in the door because they're looking for those higher profit margin items that are more expensive than maybe other ones.
We're so excited this happened.
How are you going to get share?
I think the first thing to point out is that we're not a Me Too product on shelves. There's no other cricket chip out there, and that's great marketing. That's something that will draw customers into stores. We get a lot of free press.
Do you raise any money?
Yeah, so we have bootstrapped this by winning pitch competitions. We won over $200,000 at pitch competitions.
Good for you.
Wow.
Woo.
To build this.
But in terms of equity, no, we own all of the company.
What's your next move? What do you really see you doing with bugs?
Yeah, so we see CHIRPS as what we call our gateway bug.
But really where we want to see is a whey protein replacement on the market. And so cricket flour could really be that whey protein replacement, like shakes or juices and things like that.
So like a protein mix, a protein shake mix.
Right, exactly.
So this is obviously an area that's interesting to me.
Yes.
And I agree with your mission. I agree with your vision.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, I have Japool,
Yeah.
but I also have Nuts and More. I have Alyssa's Healthy Cookies. All that are in this category, all are high protein, very high protein, and
Yep.
all look for various protein sources.
Right.
Right? So sustainable protein is something that I'm very interested in.
Right.
So I'll save you some time and all this. I want to make you an offer.
Okay.
Okay? I'll give you the $100,000, but I need 20%. Because you're going to be working with the companies I mentioned, but it's got to be worthwhile to me.
I'll tell you something. I think he's a fantastic partner. Great deal for you. I'm out.
Wow. Okay, so that happened very quickly. So yeah, it is a great opportunity to work with Mark. I would be looking to counter to get him closer. I mean, ideally 10%. Hopefully they don't counter with 10%. Hopefully they come back with 15%. But where they are right now versus where, the hope is that you're going to be able to capture that market in those amusement museum cases and hope that you are able to gain traction there. But it's even there, it's still really hard because if people don't recognize the brand, they might be willing to go where they, go to a brand that they do recognize. So it is really tough. And I think, obviously Mark can add a ton of value. I'm a little surprised though that he's willing to offer that percentage because of the fact that he does own Chipotle, which already is in the cricket flour game. So it actually is really kind of surprising that he didn't decide like, oh, I'm going to go out because like we'll just make our own chip. I don't need to have this. Though with that said, he probably couldn't develop a chip for that. Like it would probably still cost him. I don't know. I don't know what it would cost. $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 in research and development to get where they're at today. So it's easier to just pay them. Plus, you get two Harvard grads.
Okay, thanks, Lori.
Okay.
I was waiting for a
Guys, I
thought
wasn't
it was
setting this
gonna
up.
get
Yeah, I
really
wasn't setting
exciting.
this up to just, okay, I'll wait here. If you want to counter. If you don't want to do the deal, say, I just don't want to do the deal.
Okay. Would you do $100,000 for 15%?
Done.
All right. Good to see. Good to see.
The cricket king.
I'm gonna check out their website in a second here.
Great job, guys. Your product is really good.
Congratulations.
Let's get American
Wow. Oh my gosh. It feels amazing. Like, when we first started, everyone told us we were crazy. This is never going to work. Nobody's going to believe in this. And to have Mark Cuban, who is a well-seasoned entrepreneur, who really gets this, to believe in us, I mean, it's a dream come true.
Ding ding. That is awesome. I would love to have you, Rose, and Laura, come here on the show to talk about your Shark Tank experience and what you've been up to since being on Shark Tank. This was back in season 8, episode 14. So I usually love to see faces. We're not. We gotta wait all the way till we get down here to see faces, which is fine. But I like to see people enjoying the snacks and that kind of thing. It looks like they sold out of their protein powder, which is pretty cool to see. And oh wow, and it's quite a few other things. So it's just like right now, all they have is the CHIRPS bags, the vanilla cricket protein. I guess you could make like ice cream out of it, or is that just to show vanilla ice cream chocolate? Okay, I guess this is to show the flavoring of it, but. Very cool. They got cookies, so that's sold out too. So it's like the only thing they got right now is bags of chips. So it looks like I'm gonna be ordering some crickets, and maybe we'll get the kids to eat some cricket powder chips, and see what they think of it. We won't tell them what it's made out of. I don't think we'll have to hide the cricket word because Ava might actually be able to read that word. But you know what I like to read is comments down below, like from Super Denny Decoy. He is, asked me to make a video. He gave a whole bunch of recommendations, and this is one of those recommendations. So feel free to drop one of your recommendations down below. I appreciate you watching and commenting and being a part of the super community. I'll see you in one of these 2 videos right here. Take care and go be super.